what you do when you move your guitar. That includes once you've bought it. We're going to cover your warm-up exercises, we're going to cover how to tune, and we're going to cover one of the interesting things, which is going to be just playing and messing around on your guitar, because that is just as important as learning everything else. Right, now if you bought a brand new guitar, it'll be in a cardboard box. You've got to take all the wrapping off. If you bought a second-hand guitar, just take it out of the bag and hang it up in a stand. Now, if outside wasn't too hot or cold compared to where you are, about 15 minutes left in the stand, say it was -2 or really hot day, bring it in, leave it for about half an hour or so. What it is the metal in the strings will stretch or contract depending on the temperature, and you just let it get acclimatized to the room. Now, so let's say you've come home with your guitar, you've just put it in a stand. Now, the next thing you've got to do is warm-up exercises, because these are super important. If you don't do them, you will do permanent damage to your hands eventually. Your hands won't move properly, and it's very simple what we're going to do, okay? Now, first thing is you just make sure your hands are warm, normal room temperature. If your hands are cold, either turn the heating on or just wait till they warm up. First thing you're going to do is you don't clench like a fist and make your muscles work, you just close your hands and then just extend your fingers and your thumbs. Now, don't go like that and hold it and go for a stretch. No, you're not stretching to make your fingers get wider, you're just stretching them to warm them up. Now just do it a couple of times. The reason I'm doing it in real time is because I want you to do it with me. Now we've done this one. Now, if your fingers are aching a little bit, just give them a little rub, don't worry, especially your first time. Now some of these, they might seem quite weird and take a little bit of use to. Now the next one, so I'm just going to rotate my thumbs and back. Now, this finger. Now, if you have trouble, and I do sometimes, just take your time. Move on to the next finger. Then the next one. And the last one. Now what I like to do then, is I like to give them a little shake, then go back to the first exercise again, just gently. Now normally I would do my tuning first and then these exercises, but just to get you into isolating them, we're going to do them. Now, what we're going to move on next to is tuning, and then once we've done the tuning, we're going to go through some more warm-ups, but they're actually going to teach you, first of all, how to use the pick, and second of all, we can go through some fingering. Okay, when you use a tuner, I'm going to play the fattest string, which is an E. Now if you notice, it goes from red to green. Now, if it's green and stays green, it's in tune. If it goes into the yellow, it's slightly over. Now, depending on your machine heads, in my case, I turn my machine head towards me and it slackens the string off. Now you have to forgive me if it's not perfect on the green, because I'm actually using the camera's viewport to look, because I have my tuner facing you guys. Now I know this seems to be quite boring, laborious, but you'll get used to it. And I will try, it's not easy, to keep the guitar still. Now, that guitar is now in tune. Okay, I've shown you a nice close-up of the tuner. Now I'm going to show you what you do with this hand. Okay, now, just very gently, the fattest one is an E, just a touch out, Next one is an A. Then D. Then G. Then B. Then E again. Right guys, now this is how you hold the pick. Then you put your thumb on top. I have a tiny amount of pick showing. That is the best way to do it, but over time that will happen for you too. Right, on to showing you how to put it to the strings. Alright guys, what I've done is I've moved it way too far back. It's the only way I can get the camera angle for you guys. Now, a lot of people when they begin, they'll end up putting the pick even this far down. You don't need to. You only need a tiny bit of pick. And believe me, this is not easy for me. Now, I kind of call this ghost picking because you hardly feel the string. What you're doing is obviously there's a tiny bit of pressure, but you're coming over the string. Okay? Now, if you come here, you actually have to pick harder than you need to. And it's going to take you a lot of practice to stop doing it. Now, I don't know if the camera can see this, I'm hoping so, but you see how only about 1 millimetre of my pick is actually needed. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the amount I normally use, which is the tiny bit. You see? And if you notice, I only use my finger and thumb in that kind of motion. Acoustic players playing full chords do that. You don't need to do that, it's a bad habit for what you're doing. That's what you want to do. Now, I'm doing downward picking this time. All that means is I'm picking towards the floor. Okay? Now we do it in fours and then change strings. So, and then we keep doing picking towards the floor, but we're going to do the strings that way. And now we're going to do up picking. So we're picking towards the ceiling. Same thing again. Now we're going to move on to our fingering techniques. Now, first thing you need to do is you put your thumb on the back of the neck of the guitar. It's where you get the pressure from to play. Now, first finger, second finger, third finger, fourth finger. If you're ever watching one of my videos and I say one of those numbers of the finger, you know what I mean. Now, you have metal frets, and if you play on top of them, you get horrible sounds. You want to play just that side of the fret. Now, take your time. Don't try and do this quickly. It's an eye-hand coordination thing, it's a strength thing, and you're learning to play clean notes. That's a note that sounds like that. Right, this is the thumb on the back of the neck for when you play. As you can see, the thumb is your fulcrum, but don't force those strings down. They don't need much energy to do it. Okay guys, just a little bit of energy. You'll soon hear. See? And you can hear it going out of tune again. Okay guys, nice close up of the fingering. See? I hope you can see just beside the fret. Now you'll have to forgive me with the vibrations because I'm in an exceptionally weird angle to get this on camera for you. Now we've done half the exercise, we go the opposite way. Hello, Mr. Moth. Okay guys, now we're getting to the really fun stuff, the stuff I personally love. When you've done all your exercises, all your scales, all that stuff, you get to have the fun bit. But believe it or not, this is actually, you're learning the very first step of jamming as well. Now, I'm going to let you to a hint when you're doing a bit of freestyle, if you want to call it that. This top string, the open E, sounds really good on its own. See? Really nice. Now, if you combine the third and the fifth fret with this, it's really good. Don't despair, because in later videos I'll be going on things called power chords. Changes the ball game. Do not be afraid to try anywhere on the fretboard. If it sounds naff, you'll hear it. You may even make a great mistake. Like that. Okay? Don't worry about it. If you make a mistake, you make a mistake. It's part of learning. Yeah? So, everyone, cheers, keep practicing, and don't give up.